So this is actually supposed to be part of a larger series, but really this video is more like a standalone video. It doesn't really matter. If you want to find out about the larger series, you can look at the end. And also, in this video, I didn't really analyze things psychologically as much as I had intended to for each video. As far as my general theme I was trying to have for each video for this series, but basically just when you look at it, you can just see the observations I make, that I look for beauty and looking for the connections between things, seeing different connections, whether geology, whether we're connected through different universal stories to everything, and then also just enjoying kind of like the flow of the landscape, the nature, just kind of like the different energy that the area has. Okay, me, Sarge, and Patrick at this Minnesota Sculpture Park. Now, me and Sarge have been here before a couple months ago. I didn't end up actually filming it. Now, there wasn't that many people here that day. A lot more people here today. Big blue thing there. Yes, we've been here before, but it's good. So we've been here before. Okay, so I guess you're not supposed to walk through this area. Nice birds here. So kind of like a wild grass area here, kind of too. As far as noting this area, the art, I don't know, but I guess there's something to the idea of where the artifacts are all spread apart. It's kind of like a pretty wide open area, and then has different structures. I don't know what a true art historian would say about something like that. Please enter, but do not touch the figure. I wonder if this is supposed to be based after that roundhouse that's at Fort Snelling. Oh, you don't want to go in, buddy? Okay, you can. All right, just stay there for a second. Oh, it's like a priest in here. Okay. There you go. I mean, a monk. I don't know if this is more of just built to be in memory of him. They thought it'd be a nice shape. I thought the shape of this building might have had to do because it looked like the roundhouse at Fort Snelling, but I guess. Anyway. Okay, so yeah, black vessel for a saint. So yeah, that's the main thing. It is the. Anyway, you can read what that says here. We get close enough to get some mist from this thing. So there's some water coming out of the big cherry with a spoon here. What does it say here? Help us protect the area. Okay. You guys don't have to move if you don't want to. We're just going to come over here. I'll keep my dog away from you guys. Okay, buddy. Okay. Alright, we'll go away, guys. Alright, guys, we'll go away. Well, I thought. Okay, another angle over here. So this is basically like a restored prairie grass area here, which Minnesota's known for having a lot of those. Oh. Okay, so it unites two of Minnesota's most cherished parks and cultural life. 1988. Okay, so it's supposed to be like modern contemporary art in urban park. You know, okay, so anyway, this parkland's made many names or changes shaped by glaciers, marshland. Yeah, okay. Okay, kind of nice from this. The wind's kind of blowing this way, and you kind of feel the breeze, that mist come over here a little bit. It feels kind of good. Every once in a while, it comes over here, the mist, right, buddy? Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of this is supposed to, like, obviously commemorate the idea of Minnesota. So a lot of this, like, prairie stuff that Minnesota is known for, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I guess there's a certain amount of stuff, like the outdoor space is important, so you couldn't shove too many sculptures here and still have it look good. If it was too, it would eliminate, wouldn't be as much empty space here. So maybe there's it's an uncanny valley of. Okay, I guess I wasn't even filming that, but okay, along this area is like more like these bronze sculptures that are kind of like, you know, I don't know what you call it, like I guess where it kind of shows like impressionistic, shows like the emotion through kind of like having the person be kind of squashed or formed like that. I don't know what you call that. And then this one, this Tin Man here, or whatever, made with some rebarb and yeah. Very cool looking bridge here. So yeah, this is a nice day. It's pretty windy here. It's pretty windy. Feels pretty nice out here right now in this kind of shady area here. So yeah, then there's a bridge that goes across the highway there. A lot of folks here today. Okay, so now we're going to St. Paul here, and we're going to go up to the top of this hill here where Summit Avenue. It's a famous avenue that a lot of rich people, movers and shakers from the early days of St. Paul, Minneapolis area lived, including James Hill. He's got a mansion you can tour. I don't know where, but anyway, but at least it's there. Okay, oh, something interesting down here. Some interesting artwork. Yeah, going up the hill, buddy. The cliffs overlooking the Mississippi. Giant stone wall here. Oh yeah, that looks like, I think that's the Platteville Limestone, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Oh, and also Summit Avenue, it's also the one that the cathedral's on. Okay. Okay, yeah, there's a cathedral. Okay, you can see all the nice houses in this area. Is that James Hill there? Let's see. I'm there in St. Paul, Minnesota. Oh, I don't know who that would look like. Thomas Jefferson. Okay, so yeah, this is very, very rich historic part of the town. Nice trees through here. Like a lot of times in these old neighborhoods like this, you get where they planted the trees a while, and now they're like some pretty nice trees and everything. Okay, this is James Hill's house coming up on the right here. We can maybe pull over for a second. Just take a look at it for a second. Yeah, right there, that one there, James Hill. Or is this actually the next one? Okay, it's actually this one. Okay, this is the biggest one. Yeah. Anyway, James Hill.
You can park here.
Right here.
It says 2-hour park.
Oh yeah, I can park. Oh. Okay, so now we just got done with Summit Avenue. Now anyway, what we're doing now is coming down a little lower, going into what's known as West St. Paul. But anyway, the main thing is we're going to more of the area where we're going to be next to these like cliffs.
of St. Peter sandstone, not on top of the big cliffs, So anyway, but it's also an area where there is some cave stuff. I don't know if we're actually going to go in there or nothing, but at least you can kind of, we'll see where there's like these street caves where a while back ago somebody put some, they carved some caves there. I guess they were using it for something like speakeasies or something like that, or, I don't know. But anyway, I guess caves is naturally, anything underground caves, as human beings, we just find them kind of an interesting anomaly in an urban area. No, I'm not as Guns N' Roses said, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. They're totally different context, so. Okay. Everybody needs a cave. Okay. These would be the stuff that would actually be edited out. This going down the hill here.
Street South.
Okay, but you can see we're going down the hill a lot over into West St. Paul here. And interesting, it's called West St. Paul, although when you look at a map, you might think, oh, it looks like South St. Paul. But the thing is, because of Mississippi is mostly north and south, and in a few places it switches to north, east and west for a little bit, they decide just to basically, okay, if it's on that side of the left side of the bank, then it's going to be the west,
So we went down to this area, and since this is one of the few times where I got so caught up with enjoying the moment, being in the moment, that I forgot to film it. Sorry, guys. That I'll just do a little bit of post-production explanation. Now, this area called Concord Robert, which is pretty much most of what we'll call like this alluvial plain basically area here. One thing that's interesting about it here is it's kind of easy to see, just look on the map, even if you didn't know much about geology, that here's those cliffs that are along those bluffs along the Mississippi, like you usually get. But those bluffs go further away here, and it's pretty apparent just looking at this is basically where like the Mississippi used to be, basically, or that this area is all just basically like sand or fill, and basically not the bedrock is deep, then you have like these cliffs right here. Now I think it's kind of interesting because if you're kind of interested in like this geology, like the St. Peter sandstone and Platteville limestone type thing we got going on, this would be like one of the few like nice easy street level places where you can see these cliffs here, so it's pretty cool. And one of the famous ones here, it's right in this area, is the Wabasha Street Cave. So if we just go down there, okay, here's the Wabasha Street Caves which they're not natural caves, they were carved in there, and that apparently they were used for speakeasies or something. I haven't actually been in there yet, I'll go there sometime, but then you get a better view of like the whole like landscape, the whole cliffs, this whole mass of rock that this is carved in here. If you go up here, now this is just a beautiful example of a cliff you could look at. So you can see the St. Peter sandstone here, and then I think this is like the shale, Glenwood shale. But anyway, then you could for sure you can tell that this is up here. That's the Platteville limestone. And actually, if you drive around a lot of places, like in downtown St. Paul, like around the cathedral and stuff, a lot of places like you'll actually see like a lot of buildings are made out of this kind of rough hewn stuff, or down at like Fort Snelling. So anyway, but that's but you can actually find this whole like layer system like this. You can basically find this across the entire Midwest. That's something to look for, but this is like one of the places. I should also say that this is a beautiful example of a contact point where you can see two different rocks. Now, a lot of times when you drive along, there might be road cuts and stuff, but the contact might be underground or maybe not, or super high up, or where you can't see that. So especially when you can find one that's easy to see, easy to access, well, even ones like sometimes you can find a contact point that's near ground level that you can actually touch as well, but there's different types of contacts, but basically they're kind of rare. And whenever you find different ones across the Midwest, they're easy to see. It's a good thing to note, especially for me, at least for me, maybe not anybody else, but But basically, in the other places, you have this rock, and where the water's flowing, what it'll do is it'll eat away at this type stuff. Okay, it'll keep eating away further, and then it'll form like a shelf there. See, so if it was all just this St. Peter sandstone, it would probably just wear down at the same rate. But because of that, it leaves this. So let's just imagine the water's flowing over here, and then it starts eating, and then it makes like a big step here, and then eventually though this will fall off, and then the waterfall go further up. stream. And this is right next to one of the places. And this is right next to one of the favorite places I like going, although a lot of times it's closed when I come in town. But this is where me and Patrick actually went. It's this coffee shop, which is right here. Okay, yeah, here it is right here. And then there's actually a couple outdoor seating places like that I should try with my dogs. As far as a place for dogs, sometimes I can go up to this Mexican place sometime. We didn't do it that day, but I might go down to this place again. Now, this place has kind of limited hours, but it is a really nice coffee shop. It's a nice seating area out here and stuff like that. So that's where we went. And that was, yeah, and then then later on, we went to Mall of America and we went and saw the aquarium.
Sorry. At the Mall of America Aquarium here. These are pretty cool looking, these neon tetras. Okay, here's some lasers.
Okay, so these are all like local things.
My angular buddies. Got a real angular face. Oh, that's why people say angling, you know. Huh? They're the big guys. Little guys.
This 30-day YouTube miniseries is a psychological experiment using Jungian psychology to live better and experience more this summer. I'm not a psychologist, just a layman looking to apply Jungian principles of life. I'm starting with the idea that the unconscious mind is very smart and tells us things. And believing in this, I drove up to Hibbing, Minnesota, and I found that 4 locations in Hibbing, Minnesota corresponded quite well to 4 different principles called the Hibbing Quaternity. The first one is the Hibbing Ghost Town, which the characteristics is you feel the echo of the past as the wind flows down established paths. This represents unconscious voice being in the center of a moving circle, the mother archetype, home, center, castle, etc. Character I'm coming up with here to explain it is Nellie, the ghost sheepdog mom who circles the area, protects and guides. The Greyhound Museum has to do with travel and also the Jungian idea of beauty as a way of mentally feeling your way into physical objects and flowing into life in general, flowing beauty, mentally becoming part of the object. The character here I'm coming up with is Flows With It, which is a Native American cartoon character who has a magic canoe, finds all past, glides over, portages, flows into life. Now the ore pit, it represents awe, the smallness of the individual, abstraction, and the way to in making the world simpler, more understandable. Connections, the beauty of symmetry, the beauty of maps, beauty of mathematics. And this is supposed to be Laser Nash. Doesn't look like him that much, but anyway, it's like John Nash with his cup sending out all these laser beams across, dividing the world, trying to find that order in the chaos from A Beautiful Mind, if you haven't seen that movie. Bob Dylan's home. It represents stories, archetypes, wishing to become someone else. DJ Hat Trick, what he does is he gets people into the groove by putting different hats on and sending people into different paths. Sort of like the way we do whenever we listen to a song, for example. Here's a simplified view of the Quaternity here that I'm going to be using for this 30-day adventure. And this is what it's going to more look like. I'm just doing a simple sketch that I'll put in the video and then just kind of explain it like on a notepad like this to make it simpler so I can get it done. So I can do a video for 30 days. And so subscribe to get all 30 of those videos.